Curious about leveraging modern GenAI-powered development tools to accelerate your VxRail automation journey? If so, then this video is for you. Hi, in this demonstration we'll explore how to utilize Codium Windsurf to effectively learn the VxRail API and expedite the creation of custom automation scripts, regardless of the programming language or automation framework you prefer. In this video, I'll show you a very cool trick and workflow that the VxRail administrators or system integrators can use to rapidly develop virtually any custom automation script, even if they don't have much experience with VxRail API. A solid background in scripting is sufficient. This demo is the second installment in our series where I showcase how modern development tools can significantly enhance your journey toward VxRail automation. Let's dive in. Windsurf is one of the first GenAI-powered agentic integrated development environments. For those of you who have been using Visual Studio Code or Cursor, Windsurf offers a user interface and experience that will feel quite familiar. The installation process is straightforward and intuitive, so it won't be covered here. Users can explore Windsurf capabilities by taking advantage of the free trial period available upon registration at the Codium website. Let's start by visiting the onboard VxRail API documentation available from VxRail Manager. In the top right corner, you will find an export button, which enables users to export the VxRail API specification for the currently installed version of the HCI system software. Select the original option and save the file with the descriptive file name in the docs directory of your current project within Windsurf. Next, open this file in the code editor to view its contents. The file contains the VxRail API specification in the OpenAPI format. Note that it's a very long file with over 22,000 lines in YAML. Such a large file can be daunting and challenging for human manual review. This is where generative AI and large language models become incredibly beneficial. They are great at processing large, structured text files like this one. To proceed, let's open the Cascade window, which enables interaction with an entire project codebase in an AI-driven agentic manner. By using the @ symbol, we can mention specifically the file with the API specification that we've just exported, prompting Windsurf to analyze this file and incorporate it into the context of our discussion. At the same time, we can ask it to summarize what operations can be automated using this API to ensure that the Cascade Assistant comprehends it accurately. I will switch mode from write to chat to prevent the generation of new files or execution of operations, focusing solely on conversation at this stage. As you can see, the response is pretty accurate, although some interpretations may lack precision. Nonetheless, the output quality is sufficiently robust for leveraging LLMs for educational purposes and exploring the capabilities of the VxRail API. You can use Cascade with the API specification as a knowledgeable tutor ready to patiently address all your questions about the API and explore the details as deeply as required. Let's continue the conversation and, for instance, let's ask, how can I use this API? It's an obvious question that someone who's not very familiar with VxRail API would likely ask. In response, we get information about the supported authentication method, allowed REST verbs and their meaning, example API use cases, common errors, best practices, and even a sample code in Python showcasing the use of the API. Let's continue by generating code samples to see how Cascade will handle that. As with every LLM, the quality of the result will heavily depend on the quality of your prompts and the context information provided. Vague prompts can lead to equally vague responses and may result in unintended inaccuracies or hallucinations. In this case, I'm giving precise instructions for writing a sample Python script demonstrating the use of API with exact requirements regarding the coding style, input parameters, and expected results of running the script. To keep it simple, I'm asking for a simple script to get information about the VxRail system. Note also that I am changing the mode from chat to write, as I want Cascade to generate a new file with the sample code in my current project. While generating the script in a separate tab within the editor window, the Cascade agent suggested executing a command to install the necessary Python dependencies. Since I will test the script on a different system, I reject that suggestion because that's not what I want. After the response generation is complete, we can simply click Accept All to accept the newly generated script fully. In the editor window, we can see that the script is very well structured and contains extensive Python doc strings and comments explaining the logic and error handling, something that many of us skip when developing our scripts from scratch. The generated script leverages just the v3 system VxRail API function, so it looks pretty safe to run in my demo VxRail environment. I will copy and run the script on a Linux system with the Python installed. To do this, I will open a text editor via the terminal, paste the script content, save it, and then proceed to test its functionality. When executing the script, it prompts for authentication parameters, so we can copy the VxRail Manager hostname and admin username and enter the password. After successful authentication, the script fetches the VxRail system details in JSON format as specified in the prompt. Of course, this was a straightforward example to get an idea of the workflow of how to use Windsurf to generate a script based on our requirements using the provided API specification. Note that this will usually be an iterative process, and we can work together with the Cascade assistant to modify the script as needed. Let's demonstrate that next. First, I'll copy the current output. I will now prompt Windsurf to modify the script logic. I'll provide our current output and ask to extract only particular information, such as the VxRail system version, health status, deployment type, number of hosts, and the type of shared storage used. In the code editor, I can see the proposed modifications to the script, which I can review one by one or accept all at once. Again, I will copy and paste the script to the code editor on the test Linux machine with Python installed to see if it works. The result is almost as we would expect. I would modify some of the data formatting, but note how quickly we can develop automation scripts that meet our requirements this way. Moreover, if you're unfamiliar with Python, that's fine. It is just an example language suggested by the LLM. If you prefer working with PowerShell or any other language or framework, you can generate automation scripts in your preferred language. In this instance, let's see if Cascade can translate our custom Python script into PowerShell. As you can see, yes, and we got very similar output. Let's expand the Cascade window and transition to chat mode to provide further examples and insights. If you're unsure how to use VxRail API for administrative tasks, you can ask straightforward prompts like, which of the API features should be the most useful for me as a VxRail admin? In response, you'll get handy suggestions with concrete API examples grouped by common administrative tasks such as system health monitoring, lifecycle management, cluster operations, etc. In this case, the agent tried to call out some tools for code generation, but because I switched from write to the chat mode, these were unsuccessful. For more complex use cases, such as cluster deployment, you can ask the assistant to break down specific problems into multiple steps and choose the appropriate knowledge level for the explanation. For instance, you might prompt this way: explain to me step by step how I could deploy a VxRail cluster using VxRail API. Assume that I don't have much experience with it. What's great is that the model, based on the API specification, was intelligent enough to connect the required steps. In this case, various pre-deployment, main deployment and post-deployment tasks were provided, and additional best practices were provided for each stage. You could do the same if you'd like to learn, for instance, how to approach lifecycle management using the API, probably an even more common use case for most VxRail customers. Finally, if you'd like to integrate VxRail with a specific automation framework or tools like Ansible, you can ask about it. Here, in the case of Ansible, the model knew about Dell's collection of Ansible modules for VxRail and provided handy information on how to use them. Of course, you need to be prepared that some answers may not be entirely accurate due to hallucinations. Still, in my opinion, the overall quality is good enough to use this approach to learn more about VxRail API and its automation capabilities. This concludes our demo. Let's recap. We covered how to use modern GenAI-powered development tools to explore VxRail API capabilities and accelerate custom automation script development using the API specification available in the onboard VxRail API documentation. While this demonstration highlighted the use of Codium Windsurf, other alternative solutions can be similarly applied. For further details on using VxRail API for automation, please open the QR code shown on the screen, which will take you to a blog with all the essential links to get started. I hope this demonstration will motivate you to use the modern GenAI-powered development tools to accelerate your VxRail automation journey. Thanks for watching!